Have you ever wondered how much time you have left? It's a question that crosses many of our minds as we grow older, but few of us know how to find the answer. The truth is, your body often sends subtle yet powerful signals about your remaining lifespan signals that most people miss until it's too late. These aren't just random changes, they're part of a natural process, a calendar of sorts that can help you understand where you are in life's journey. What's surprising is that doctors can often predict with remarkable accuracy when someone is entering their final year, not because they're psychic, but because they recognize these patterns. Some people dismiss these signs as just getting older, while others pay attention and use this knowledge to transform their remaining time into the most meaningful period of their lives. In this video, we're exploring the 12 key indicators that can help you understand if you're likely to see another birthday, and more importantly, how to make every day count if your time might be limited. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to read your body's signals, what they mean for your future, and the specific steps you can take to ensure that your remaining time, whether it's months or many years, is filled with meaning, peace, and closure. Stay with me until the end, because the last sign we'll discuss is one that most people never recognize, yet it can offer the most profound opportunity for a meaningful transition. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 so I can make better videos for you. And if you know someone who might need this information, please send them this video. It could really help. Now, let's get started. Number 1. The changing appetite that signals more than just aging. One of the earliest and most overlooked signs that your body may be entering its final year is a significant change in appetite and weight. This isn't just about eating less because you're getting older, it's your body beginning a natural transition process. Many people in their final year experience unintentional weight loss, even when they're not trying to lose weight. What happens is that your metabolism begins to shift fundamentally. Your body starts to prioritize essential functions and becomes less efficient at processing nutrients. You might notice clothes fitting more loosely, a belt that needs tightening, or simply feeling full after just a few bites of food. This isn't just a small change. Studies show that unintentional weight loss of 5% or more over 6 months is associated with increased mortality risk. The critical thing to understand is that forcing yourself to eat more isn't always the answer. Instead, focus on nutrient-dense foods that provide maximum nutrition in smaller portions. Protein becomes especially important, as it helps maintain muscle mass and strength for as long as possible. Rather than 3 large meals, try 5 or 6 smaller nutrient-rich portions throughout the day. Martha, 82, noticed that she couldn't finish her regular meals anymore. Instead of worrying, she adapted. She started having small protein-rich snacks throughout the day, a spoonful of peanut butter, a hard-boiled egg, or a small yogurt. This approach helped her maintain her strength longer than many of her friends who experienced similar appetite changes. By acknowledging this sign rather than fighting it, she was able to adapt in ways that supported her body's changing needs. If you've noticed your appetite diminishing or weight dropping without trying, don't panic, but do pay attention. It might be your body's calendar turning another page, signaling that it's time to adjust your approach to nutrition and perhaps time to consider what matters most to you in the days ahead. Number 2. The changing sleep patterns that reveal your timeline. One of the most telling signs that your body may be entering its final stages is a profound change in how you sleep. This isn't just about waking up a little earlier or having trouble falling asleep. It's about a fundamental shift in your sleep architecture that often occurs in the year before the end of life. As the body begins its final transition, many people experience either excessive sleepiness during the day or persistent insomnia at night. You might find yourself needing more naps, struggling to stay awake during activities you once enjoyed, or conversely, lying awake for hours despite feeling exhausted. This happens because your brain's regulation of sleep-wake cycles starts to break down as part of the natural winding down process. What makes this particularly significant is that these changes often follow a pattern. In the early months of the final year, you might experience more daytime fatigue. As months progress, this can shift to more fragmented sleep, and in the final months, some people experience periods of heightened alertness mixed with profound exhaustion, almost as if the body is preparing for its final transition by loosening its connection to normal daily rhythms. Instead of fighting these changes with caffeine or sleeping pills, work with them. Create a flexible schedule that allows for rest when your body signals it needs it. Keep a journal of your sleep patterns. This can help you track changes and give you a better understanding of where you might be in this natural process. Think about your current sleep patterns. Have they changed significantly in recent months? Do you find yourself needing more rest during the day? Are you experiencing unusual periods of alertness at night? These shifts might be your body's way of communicating where you are on its natural timeline, giving you an opportunity to prioritize what matters most while you still have the energy to do so. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3. The withdrawal from social connections signals time to prepare. One of the most misunderstood changes that often occurs in the final year of life is a gradual withdrawal from social connections. Many families mistake this for depression or dismissively call it giving up, but the truth is far more complex. This natural pulling away from social engagement is actually your body and mind beginning a profound transition process that deserves respect and understanding. You might notice yourself becoming less interested in social gatherings, feeling less motivated to make plans for the future, or finding that you simply prefer quieter, more intimate settings with just 1 or 2 people rather than larger groups. Conversations might feel more draining than energizing. There's a natural turning inward that happens not out of sadness, but as part of a meaningful psychological transition. This change is so reliable that hospice workers and geriatric specialists consider it one of the key indicators of a person entering their final transition. Your emotional energy naturally becomes more conserved, more selective about where it flows. It's not that you stop caring about others, it's that your focus naturally shifts toward processing your own life experience. If you notice this happening, don't fight against it or let others push you into activities that drain you. Instead, use this natural transition to focus on meaningful connections with those who matter most. Quality becomes more important than quantity. This is the time to have important conversations, express unspoken feelings, and strengthen bonds with a small circle of loved ones. Robert, 79, noticed himself becoming less interested in his usual community activities. His daughter worried he was depressed, but his doctor recognized this as a natural transition. Rather than pushing him to stay socially active, his family adjusted. They planned shorter, more intimate visits. His grandson recorded family stories. His daughter helped him write letters to important people in his life. By working with this natural withdrawal rather than against it, his final months became a time of meaningful connection and closure. Number 4. When your body slows its healing process. One of the clearest signs that your body may be entering its final year is a noticeable change in how quickly you heal from even minor injuries or illnesses. This isn't just about getting older, it's a specific shift in your body's priorities as it begins to conserve energy for essential functions only. You might notice that a simple cut or bruise takes weeks rather than days to heal. Minor infections like colds or urinary tract infections become persistent problems rather than passing inconveniences. If you've had pneumonia more than once in a short period, or if a course of antibiotics doesn't seem to work as effectively as it once did, your body is sending you important information about its changing capabilities. What's happening is that your immune system and regenerative processes, which require significant energy to function optimally, are beginning to slow down as your body redirects its limited resources. This isn't a failure. It's a natural reprioritization that happens as part of the body's final transition. Medical professionals often look for this pattern when assessing someone's prognosis. When the body stops investing heavily in repair and recovery, it's often signaling that it's beginning to prepare for its final stages. Studies show that recurring infections within a 3-month period are highly correlated with entering the final year of life, particularly in people over 75. If you notice these changes, it's important to shift your approach. Rather than frustrating yourself with expectations of quick recovery, adjust your lifestyle to prevent injuries and infections in the first place. Keep your environment warm and safe. Be meticulous about hand washing and food safety, and consider whether aggressive medical interventions for chronic conditions still align with your quality of life goals. Have you noticed that it takes your body longer to bounce back from illnesses? Are small injuries lingering when they used to heal quickly? These changes are your body's calendar pages turning, possibly signaling that it's time to have important conversations with loved ones and healthcare providers about your priorities for the time you have left. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5. Your body's changing circulation patterns reveal timeline. One of the most reliable indicators that someone may be in their final year is a subtle but progressive change in circulation, specifically, how blood flows to different parts of the body. This change follows a remarkably consistent pattern that healthcare professionals recognize as a natural part of the body's final transition process. The first sign often appears in the extremities, hands and feet that feel unusually cold, even in warm environments. You might notice a subtle bluish or purplish tint to your fingernails, or a mottled appearance to the skin on your legs. These changes happen because your body is naturally redirecting blood flow to protect vital organs, reducing circulation to less essential areas like hands and feet. As months progress, this redistribution of blood flow becomes more pronounced. The skin might look paler, and temperature differences between your core and extremities become more noticeable. This isn't a medical emergency, it's your body's intelligent system prioritizing blood flow to your brain, heart, and lungs as energy resources become more limited. For those who understand this process, these changes can actually serve as a useful calendar. Medical research shows that changes in peripheral circulation often begin 8-12 months before the end of life, becoming progressively more noticeable in the final months. If you notice these changes, focus on comfort rather than trying to reverse the process. Warm socks, light gloves, and layered clothing can help manage the temperature differences. More importantly, recognize these signs as valuable information. Perhaps it's time to finalize important paperwork, have meaningful conversations with loved ones, or complete projects that matter to you while your energy still allows. Understanding this natural process can transform what might seem like concerning symptoms into a meaningful timeline that helps you prioritize what matters most in the time you have left. Number 6. When your breath tells you more than your doctor. Few people realize that breathing patterns can be one of the most accurate indicators of where someone is in their life journey. Long before more obvious signs appear, subtle changes in breathing can signal that the body is beginning its final transition, often months before other symptoms become apparent. You might notice becoming winded more easily during regular activities like walking to the mailbox or climbing stairs. This isn't just about getting older or being out of shape. What's happening is that your lungs are becoming less efficient at oxygen exchange, and your heart is working harder to compensate. This increased effort becomes noticeable first during physical activity, then gradually during lighter activities, and eventually even at rest. Another change many people notice is their breathing becoming more irregular, alternating between deeper, more rapid breaths and slower, shallower ones. You might even experience brief pauses in breathing that you don't notice, but that might be observed by others. This irregular pattern, known as Cheyne-Stokes respiration, often begins subtly in the earlier months of the final year. Healthcare providers pay careful attention to these changes because they tend to follow a predictable timeline. Studies show that notable changes in breathing patterns during regular activities often begin 6-9 months before the end of life, becoming progressively more pronounced over time. If you notice these breathing changes, it doesn't mean you should panic, but it does signal that it's time to focus on quality of life. Simple activities like sitting upright rather than lying flat, using extra pillows at night, and avoiding heavy meals that can press against the diaphragm can all improve comfort. More importantly, these signs can help you understand where you might be in your life's journey, giving you time to address unfinished business and focus on what brings you joy and meaning. Number 7. When your taste buds signal the body's timeline. A surprising but scientifically documented sign that often appears in the final year of life is a significant change in how things taste and smell. This isn't just the normal dulling of senses that comes with aging, it's a more dramatic shift that many people don't connect to the body's natural winding down process. You might suddenly find that foods you've always enjoyed taste different often, metallic, too sweet, or simply unpleasant. Coffee might taste bitter, meat might become unappealing, or you might develop strong preferences for very sweet or very salty foods. These changes happen because the taste receptors and neural pathways that process these sensations begin to alter as part of the body's natural transition. What makes this particularly significant is that these taste changes often follow a pattern. They typically begin with a general dulling of taste, followed by specific aversions, and sometimes end with a preference for just a few simple foods or liquids. Medical research has found that pronounced taste changes often begin 4-6 months before the end of life and can serve as an indicator of where someone is in their final transition. Elizabeth, 84, always loved her morning coffee until one day it suddenly tasted unbearably bitter. Over the following weeks, she noticed more foods tasting wrong. Her doctor recognized these changes as part of a natural transition process. Instead of worrying about proper nutrition, her family focused on offering whatever appealed to her, sometimes just ice cream or apple juice. By working with these changes, rather than fighting them, they were able to provide comfort and pleasure through simple foods that still tasted good to her. If you notice significant changes in your taste preferences, consider it valuable information about your body's timeline. Rather than forcing yourself to eat foods that no longer appeal to you, focus on finding new options that provide pleasure and comfort. More importantly, recognize that your body may be giving you information about where you are in your life's journey, perhaps signaling that it's time to focus on completing important emotional and spiritual tasks while you still have the energy to do so. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 7 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 8. The emotional journey that follows a timeline. One of the most profound yet least discussed aspects of the final year of life is that our emotional states often follow a surprisingly predictable pattern. This isn't random moodiness, it's actually part of a meaningful psychological process that helps us prepare for our final transition. In the earlier months of the final year, many people experience periods of increased anxiety or worry, often without being able to identify a specific cause. This isn't ordinary nervousness, it's your body and mind beginning to sense the transition ahead. As months progress, this anxiety often gives way to periods of reflectiveness or even detachmenta, natural turning inward, as your focus shifts from external concerns to processing your life experience. What's remarkable is how consistent this emotional journey tends to be. Research in palliative care shows that this progression from anxiety to reflection to a kind of peaceful acceptance often happens in the same sequence across cultures and belief systems. It's almost as if there's an internal emotional calendar that helps prepare us psychologically for the end of life. In the final months, many people experience what psychologists call terminal lucidity, periods of unusual clarity, emotional resolution, or even joy that seem to come from nowhere. Family members often describe these as good days, where their loved one seems more like themselves, more at peace. These aren't random fluctuations but meaningful parts of the natural emotional journey toward the end of life. If you notice these emotional shifts happening, honor them as part of a meaningful process. The anxiety phase is a good time to address unfinished business, to have important conversations, or settle practical matters. The reflective phase is ideal for life review, sharing stories, recording memories, or creating legacy projects. And those periods of unexpected clarity or peace are precious opportunities for meaningful connection with those you love. Instead of treating these emotional changes as problems to be solved with medication, recognize them as valuable signposts on a natural journey, one that can be embraced with awareness rather than feared. Number 9. When your mental clarity changes predictably. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the final year of life is how our mental clarity naturally changes. This isn't the same as dementia or normal age-age, a specific pattern that often serves as a reliable calendar of where someone is in their final transition. In the earlier months of the final year, many people experience what might seem like ordinary forgetfulness, misplacing items, forgetting appointments, or having trouble finding words. What's happening is that the brain is beginning to redistribute energy, focusing less on short-term memory and more on processing deeper, more meaningful memories and experiences. As months progress, you might notice that your thinking becomes more concrete and present-focused. Planning for the future becomes less important, while immediate experiences, the taste of food, the warmth of sunlight, the presence of a loved one, become more vivid and meaningful. This isn't cognitive decline. It's a natural shift toward what matters most as time becomes more precious. What makes this particularly significant is how this mental shift tends to follow a pattern. Research in end-of-life care shows that changes in mental focus from future-oriented to present-oriented thought often begin 3-6 months before the end of life, becoming more pronounced in the final months. If you notice these changes in yourself or a loved one, remember that they're serving an important purpose. Rather than fighting against them or becoming frustrated, work with these changes. Simplify daily routines, reduce unnecessary decisions, and focus on creating moments of joy and connection in the present moment. This mental transition isn't something to fear but to understand. It's the mind's way of helping us let go of concerns that no longer matter and focus on what truly does love, meaning, and the simple beauty of being alive right now. Number 10. How your kidneys tell time more accurately than you think. One of the most reliable yet overlooked indicators of life expectancy is kidney function. Your kidneys do far more than filter waste. They're sophisticated organs that help regulate everything from blood pressure to red blood cell production. When they begin to slow down, it often follows a remarkably consistent timeline that medical professionals recognize as a significant marker. What makes kidney changes particularly notable is that they often begin well before more obvious symptoms appear. You might notice subtle changes like slight swelling in your ankles, feeling more tired than usual, or needing to urinate more frequently at night. These aren't just minor inconveniences, they're your body's way of signaling that a fundamental shift is happening. Medical research has found that specific patterns of declining kidney function can predict end of life with surprising accuracy, often 6-12 months in advance. This isn't about kidney disease. Specifically even, people without diagnosed kidney problems show these changes as the body naturally begins its final transition. The good news is that blood tests can identify these changes early, giving you valuable information about your timeline. If blood tests show elevated creatinine or blood urea nitrogen (BUN) levels that are progressively increasing, this often indicates that the body is beginning its natural winding down process. If you notice symptoms of changing kidney function, or if blood tests show these changes, consider it important information rather than just a medical problem to solve. While medications and dietary changes can help manage symptoms, recognize that these changes may also be telling you something valuable about where you are in life's journey. This knowledge can help you prioritize what matters most to you, whether that's completing important legal arrangements, having meaningful conversations with loved ones. or simply spending your energy on activities that bring you joy and fulfillment in the time you have left. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 10 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 11. When your heart rhythm becomes your life's calendar. Few people realize that changes in heart rhythm can serve as one of the most accurate calendars of remaining lifespan. This isn't about diagnosed heart disease or even an irregular heartbeat that you might notice yourself. It's about subtle changes in heart function that follow a surprisingly consistent pattern in the final year of life. You might occasionally feel your heart racing or skipping beats, especially when transitioning from sitting to standing. You might find yourself needing to rest more frequently during physical activity, or notice that your pulse feels different sometimes, stronger, sometimes weaker, with less consistency than before. These aren't just random fluctuations, but meaningful changes in how your heart is functioning. What makes this particularly significant is that these changes often follow a timeline. Medical research shows that subtle heart rhythm changes often begin 9-12 months before the end of life, with more noticeable changes in the final months. Doctors can detect these changes through EKGs and other tests, but even without medical monitoring, many people intuitively sense these shifts. If you notice these changes, focus on activities that support heart function without overtaxing it. Gentle movement, good hydration, and avoiding temperature extremes can all help maintain comfort. More importantly, these changes can give you valuable information about your timeline, helping you prioritize what matters most to you in the time you have left. The heart has always been associated with our emotional lives, and in this final transition, it can serve as a meaningful timekeeper, not to create fear, but to help us use our remaining time with intention and awareness. Number 12. The spiritual awakening that marks the final transition. The most profound yet least discussed sign that someone may be entering their final year is a significant shift in spiritual awareness. This isn't about religion specifically, but about a deeper change in how we perceive our place in the world and what matters most. Many people experience a natural opening of spiritual awareness in their final months, a sense of connection, meaning, or transcendence that feels different from ordinary consciousness. You might find yourself more drawn to nature, more aware of beauty in simple things, or experiencing moments of profound gratitude that seem to come from nowhere. You might have vivid dreams about deceased loved ones, or feel their presence in ways that bring comfort rather than fear. What makes this particularly significant is that this spiritual opening tends to follow a pattern, often becoming more pronounced in the final months of life. Hospice workers and end-of-life specialists recognize these changes as meaningful parts of the natural dying process, not as confusion or delusion, but as important aspects of how humans prepare for transition. Thomas, 86, had never been particularly spiritual throughout his life. Yet in his final months, he began speaking about seeing his long-deceased wife sitting at the foot of his bed. His family was concerned until his hospice nurse explained that these experiences are common and meaningful. Rather than dismissing them, his daughter started asking, "How is Mom today?" This acknowledgement brought him visible comfort and opened the door to conversations about life, death, and what might lie beyond that he had previously avoided. If you notice these changes in perception or awareness, honor them as part of a meaningful process. Share these experiences with those close to you if it feels right, or simply allow yourself to be present with them. These spiritual openings aren't something to fear or medicalize. They're profound opportunities for completion, connection, and comfort as we approach life's final transition. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on these 12 signs that can help you understand if you're approaching your final year, and more importantly, how to make that time meaningful. Changes in appetite and weight that signal your body's changing priorities. Sleep patterns that reveal your timeline. The natural withdrawal from social connections, slower healing processes. Changing circulation patterns in the extremities. Alterations in breathing that signal transition. Taste and smell changes that follow a pattern. The emotional journey from anxiety to acceptance. Shifts in mental clarity. Kidney function as a reliable timekeeper. Heart rhythm changes that mark the calendar of life. And the spiritual awakening that often accompanies our final transition. Understanding these signs isn't about creating fear or obsession with death. It's about gaining valuable information that can help you use your remaining time, whether it's months or many years, with greater awareness and intention. When we recognize where we are in life's journey, we can prioritize what truly matters. Resolving unfinished business, expressing love, finding closure, and creating meaning in our final chapter. Remember that these changes don't all happen at once, and not everyone experiences all of them. But if you notice several of these signs appearing in your life, consider it valuable information rather than something to fear. This awareness can transform what might otherwise be a time of decline into a period of profound meaning, connection, and completion. The truth is, knowing that your time may be limited doesn't have to diminish your life. It can actually enhance it, bringing a clarity and focus to your days that many people never experience. When we understand our place in the natural cycle of life, we can embrace it with wisdom, courage, and grace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. And most importantly, please consider sending this video to someone who might need to hear it. Your action could truly help someone today. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.